welcome to the Webcast for Monday, July 13th. I'm South Ops meteorologist Jonathan O'Brien. The monsoon is in high gear this week, as evidenced by an abundance of mid- and high-level clouds across the region this morning. As daytime heating increases, we'll be seeing showers and thunderstorms developing this afternoon. As of 8 o'clock this morning, we have not yet seen any lightning across the region during this monsoon surge, as despite the abundance of mid-level moisture, a lack of instability has so far precluded any thunderstorm development. The weather pattern this week will be characterized by strong high pressure centered northeast of the Four Corners, keeping a southeast flow aloft in place. That is a favorable direction for monsoonal moisture, and as a result, we're going to be dealing with an active monsoon pattern all week long. The main challenge this week will be working out the timing and location of several rounds of showers and thunderstorms. Each day this week will likely see some showers and storms across the region. Today will be a day of more widespread activity. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will affect most of the eastern half of the region today. This will include activity that extends south and west of the mountains of both Southern California and the Sierra, but likely not all the way to the Central Coast. Thunderstorms will be wet for the most part, but we will definitely have to watch along the western periphery of activity, where less rain will occur, and more importantly, where additional rounds of moisture are less likely this week, leading to higher growth potential down the road. Activity will continue on Tuesday, but be more confined along and east of the higher mountains and into the deserts of Central and Southern California. Wednesday and Thursday should see even less activity, and storms those days should be heavily confined to the deserts and the high Sierra. A renewed increase in activity is possible from Friday through the weekend, but that is still uncertain. Storms from Tuesday and beyond should remain on the wet side. They will also be occurring in areas with increasingly unreceptive fuels due to the repeated rounds of moisture. As a result, while a few additional new starts are likely, storms from Tuesday onwards are not likely to be a major concern. Outside of the thunderstorm risk, temperatures will remain above normal this week, with 80s to low 90s across the lower mountains and 90s to 105 degrees in the valleys. Here's a look at today's forecast highs, although like yesterday, temperatures today may tend to underachieve due to the cloud cover. The hottest days, where 100-plus degree readings in the valleys will be more common, will be Wednesday and Thursday. That is because high pressure will nudge a little closer to us, and at the same time we'll likely see a lull in the monsoonal cloud cover. These are Wednesday's forecast highs, which should be the hottest day. These numbers are probably a few degrees too warm, but even if you subtract off a few degrees, it will definitely be a hot day. Another factor driving the heat this week is the overnight temperatures. Because of the added moisture in the atmosphere, temperatures will not cool off well overnight, giving us a high launching point and increasing the risk of heat-related illness due to the lack of overnight relief. Another moving target this week will be the humidity. Broadly speaking, we'll be expecting minimum humidities mainly in the 15 to 30% range for most of this week. However, while those may be the minimum values, a pattern like this often produces periods of higher humidities thanks to the presence of showers and thunderstorms. And overall, this week will definitely have a muggy feel to it, with humidities running higher than what we're normally used to. Finally, in terms of winds, they will be on the light side this week with lighter than normal onshore flow, allowing for weaker than average winds in most areas and local effects dominating. That weaker onshore flow is also a contributor to the hot temperatures with less ocean influence. However, the big caveat is that there will likely be a lot of thunderstorm outflow winds this week. Gusty and erratic outflow winds will be possible in the vicinity of thunderstorms, leading to potentially sudden wind shifts and the potential for atypical wind directions. So the big question is, what does this all mean for fire business and the fire season? Well, it is likely to be a mixture of both positive and negative effects, though overall probably more tilted towards the beneficial side. You can see that ERC is expected to mostly trend downwards this week, but that will be heavily driven by declines in the deserts and some of the mountains, with some PSAs west of the moisture seeing little or no decline in ERCs. Still, the elevated humidities and areas of precipitation will lead to overall moistening trends in our dead fuels, despite the hot temperatures. But again, despite the falling fire danger indices, we will be picking up a lot of lightning this week, so initial attack resources are likely to be quite busy, but with generally high probabilities for IA success given the marginal conditions for significant fire growth. And again, the biggest concern will likely be anything we pick up today on the western periphery of the moisture, where we will tend to dry out more in the next few days. Outside of the thunderstorm threat, the hot conditions with a very unstable atmosphere will also yield a daily risk for a larger human-caused fire, though that risk will be tempered by the light winds and the lack of very low RH. That's it for today's webcast. Thanks for joining us. The next one will be on Tuesday, July 14th.